Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawah Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha Kodash, Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Yahawah Ben Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ben Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. And today I'll be coming out with a lesson, and again, this on another article. I guess it's on Time Magazine or whatever, but it says Iran delivers a new furious threat to U.S. after Trump strike the nuclear bases. It says Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi delivered blistering remarks Sunday as he responded to the overnight strikes conducted by the U.S., which, overseen by President Trump, targeted 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Araghchi warned of an everlasting, dangerous, and far-reaching consequences for what the Iranian Foreign Ministry called an egregious act of aggression and a heinous crime. Araghchi delivered his response in a speech at the 51st session of Council of Foreign Ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation in Istanbul. Also via a series of online posts, the warmongering and lawless administration in Washington is solely and fully responsible for the dangerous consequences and far-reaching implications of its act of aggression, Araghchi said. The U.S. military aggression against the territorial integrity and national sovereignty of a UN member state, carried out in collusion with the genocidal Israel, once again laid bare the depth of depravity that governs American foreign policy, and revealed the extent of hostility harbored by the U.S. ruling establishment against peace-seeking and independence-loving people of Iran. And this is how this devil does. This is how he gets down. Let's continue. It says the Iranian politician went on to request an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, citing a violation of the UN Security Council Resolution 2231, and threatened that silence on the matter would only worsen the situation. So silence in the face of blatant aggression would plunge the world into an unprecedented level of danger and chaos, he said, or he warned. This is Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian also condemned the Trump-ordered strikes, and referred to the U.S. as the preliminary instigator. Of course, the aggression showed that the U.S. is the primary instigator of the Zionist regime hostile actions against Islamic Republic of Iran, Pezeshkian said, although they initially tried to deny their role after our armed forces' decisive and deterrent response and the Zionist regime's in clear incapacity, they were inevitably forced to enter the field themselves. So America's supposedly, but this is what this devil does. He sets things up, does things. He gives himself an excuse to commit wickedness and do evil on the earth. But let's continue. It says Pezeshkian urged the public to come together in the face of the attacks from Iran and Israel and the U.S. This is prior to initial Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities or military targets on June 13th. They conducted amid a growing concern over Iran's capabilities or nuclear capabilities. Iran and the U.S. had been engaging in talks surrounding a potential nuclear deal. Those talks were suspended in light of the active conflict and remains to be seen if they will get back on track. But Araghchi said diplomacy is no longer an option. Following the U.S. military action, they crossed a very big red line by attacking nuclear facilities. We have to respond based on our legitimate right for self-defense, he said. So Iran is going to defend themselves. They're going to fight back. And the fact that Babylon America done entered in, you don't know how the scape is going to change now. The scape, everything is finna drastically change now. This devil done got his foot in the stirrup, or should I say the trap or the gin. The pit that this devil dug, the Lord didn't set it up for this devil to fall into it. But let's continue. It says Araghchi's warnings at the council somewhat mirrored the initial reaction he shared via social media. The events this morning are outrageous and will have everlasting consequences. Every member of the UN must be alarmed over this extremely dangerous, lawless criminal behavior, Araghchi said in the early hour Sunday Morning Post. It says, in accordance with the UN Charter, it and its provisions allowing a legitimate response in self-defense, Iran reserves all options and rights to defend its sovereignty, interests, and its people. It says, meanwhile, Trump referred to the attack on the Iranian facilities as successful. The U.S. launched a series of B-2 stealth bombers, some of which were reporting moving across the Pacific on Saturday, hours before the strike, and targeted sites in Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. This is a full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site in Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home. It says congratulations to great American warriors. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace, Trump said in his initial statement. He's got some other stuff like a little bit more, but let's talking about now is the time of peace. You don't know. Come and talk about attacking someone and then talking about let's talk peace. That is oxymoron. Especially when you're purposely provoking a nation of people that agreed to be at peace. But let's get a few scriptures. This is Psalms 55, verse 20. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. And that's what this devil has done. That's what Babylon America has done. So like, I don't know what the flying flip phone going on with me right now. But let's continue. This devil has put forth his hands against those that are at peace with him. Once upon a time, Iran was at peace with America. Iran had entered into a deal not to use nuclear armaments, not to ramp up their capabilities and their we'll say nuclear force of weapons. Iran was all for it. Iran was like, yeah, let's have peace. But this devil has now come against Iran, which they was at peace with him. Now Iran is on the offensive, and they will defend themselves. But this devil has put forth his hands against those that were at peace with him. This devil has broken his covenant. They did have a deal between Babylon, America, and Iran. What happened? The king of Babylon, President Trump, pulled out of the deal. So this devil broke his word like these devils do. Verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words are softer than oil, yet they are drawn swords. So this devil comes talking about peace, speaking peace. Let's do this. Let's enter into an agreement. But the truth of the matter is, war is in this devil's heart. This devil is always thinking about destruction and war and how to cause problems in the earth. Though his words are softer than oil, his words may sound good. They may make you think that there's gonna be some good times to come, but the truth of the matter is they're just drawn swords. This devil is ready to destroy you at a moment's notice. That's how this devil operates. That's how his system, his machine that he called Babylon America operates. Let's continue. And this devil, they keep talking about peace, peace, peace. Well, this is what the Lord has said about peace when it comes down to the scriptures. Because there ain't going to be no peace until Yahawah come back and redeem the hopeful elect, the 1/3 men, women, and children of Israel. And Yahshua get set back up on the earth as a righteous kingdom. That's when peace going to happen. As far as this devil, as long as this devil is in power, ain't going to be no peace. I just say peace in the Middle East, we ain't going to be none of that. It ain't going to be peace on the earth. The earth is going to continue to become weaker and more sick and everything. So the Lord gonna have to intervene. Because if the Lord don't step in, there will be no flesh to be saved. That's how destructive that this devil is. Let's continue. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, and then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So why this devil talking about peace and all of this, and we're going to be cool? When they start talking about peace and safety, that's when destruction is going to come upon them. Sudden destruction, I mean, it's going to happen very fast. This devil ain't going to know where it's coming from. And it says it's going to be upon this devil as a woman, as travail upon a woman with child, like a woman going through labor pains. It hurt. It's going to destroy this devil. And it's saying this, he said, and they shall not escape. So this devil is not going to escape his judgment that is coming from Yahawah Bahashim Yahawah. It is what it is. Last point. This is Psalms chapter 7, verse 16. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate. So the mischief that this devil has caused in the earth, and with this move that Trump just ordered, guess what? That is mischief. That's gonna come back on this devil. That's gonna come back on his system. That's gonna come back on his machine that he called a country. That's really a corporation. But we're not gonna get into that because that's another topic for another time. But that is going to return upon this devil's head. His mischief is going to return upon his own head, and his violent dealing. This devil's violent dealing is going to come down on his own pate. Meaning he's going to fall victim to all his wicked, sinful acts that he's done around the four corners of the earth and to these other nations. You know what? I said that was my last point. Let's go here. It's not my last point. This is my last point. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So woe to this devil. He was spoiling when no one spoiled him. Woe to this devil. He was dealing treacherously with those that did not deal treacherously with him. So when this devil seeks to stop dealing treacherously with these other nations and seeks to stop spoiling these other nations, meaning taking their resources by covetousness, by sneaky, underhanded, immoral, unlawful doings, when this devil decides to stop doing that and to cease from doing that, these other nations are going to deal treacherously with this devil. These other nations are going to spoil this devil and take what this devil has, which is all their treasures. Well, the Lord going to take all that, Salaki. But nonetheless, this devil is still going to be for booties for these other nations, for treasures. These nations are going to take what they can get from this devil. That's making the whore bare, stripping her and burning her and hating her and burning her with fire. Babylon, America. We're living in some serious times, some good times, some great times, but it's a bad time as well. But this is also what the Lord spoke about in his word, in the scripture. So we know this is coming, and this has to happen. It's going to get worse before it gets better. When Yahawah show up, that's when it's going to get better. But right now, it's just going to get exponentially worse. And with that, shalom.